Okay, good afternoon all. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Vanjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay, this class is conducted for semester 4 students in the subject of Supply Chain Management, Unit 4, Designing the Supply Chain Network, Chapter number 5, Network Design in the Supply Chain. So I welcome you all. So before we begin the network design in the supply chain, I'd like to recall the previous chapter, distribution network design in the supply chain. So there is a basic difference between them. Okay, so please try to understand. So when I speak about distribution channel, I will take example of a fast moving consumer goods company. Say for example, okay, so there is LVT, okay, company in Hubballi, so which manufactures Parle biscuits on behalf of Parle-G company. So the manufacturing unit is in Hubballi, and there is okay network of retailers all over the country. Say I am a customer in Dharwad. Okay, so how the product reaches to me by way of a distribution channel. So from manufacturer, the goods are supplied to wholesalers or distributors, and the retailers purchase from wholesalers and store the product into their store. Okay, me as a customer, I walk into a nearby retail store and purchase Parle-G biscuits. Okay, so this is what exactly we learned in a distribution channel. But supply chain is not only about satisfying the needs of one customer. Okay, supply chain is designed in order to satisfy customer needs all over the market or all over a country. So for that purpose, a company would have multiple manufacturing units. Okay, a company would have multiple warehouses. A company would have hundreds of distributors and millions of retailers all over the market to satisfy the needs of customers in the entire market. So the collection of these manufacturing units, collection of warehouses, collection of distributors and retailers is referred to as network design in supply chain. So I hope the concept is clear. So for that matter, PepsiCo, for example, okay, has around more than 20 or 30 manufacturing units all over India. Similarly, they will have hundreds of distributors and millions of retailers. So these manufacturing units are located in strategic, okay, geographical areas, and each manufacturing unit supplies to the requirements of its surrounding market. So each manufacturing unit supplies to the demand of its, okay, nearby market. So similarly, each distributor is given a territory within a city. So the supply wholesaler supplies to the retailers in the designated territory. Okay. So this is what we are talking about, a network design in the supply chain. So with this brief background, let us see what are we going to discuss in today's class. So today we are going to learn about facility location. So when I say facility, I remind you again that it is a manufacturing unit, a factory, or a warehouse. Capacity allocation. So what should be the production capacity of each factory or warehouse? And market allocation are discussed. Market allocation refers to from which factory or from which warehouse, which geographical market should be supplied. Second point that we are going to learn or discuss is the factors influencing the above decisions. Third point, a strategic framework for facility location. So where to locate the factory or where to locate the warehouse. Then network optimization model and gravity location model that help a company in deciding an optimal geographical location for a facility. Okay. So I hope things are clear regarding what we are going to discuss today. Okay, so if you look at a conventional network of a manufacturing company, so what we can see here, okay, is a vendor. Vendor is nothing but supplier of raw materials. So a company procures raw materials from many vendors or many suppliers. Say for example Dell. They procure processors from Intel company. They procure monitors from Sony. They procure motherboard from Seagate and other companies. So a company will have multiple vendors. And these vendors or suppliers of raw materials will have their own warehouse, which is called as a distribution center. So in these warehouses or distribution centers, the suppliers maintain the inventory of raw materials. On receipt of the order, the raw materials are supplied from the distribution center to the customer or manufacturer. So now if you look at the manufacturer, so there will be different types of manufacturing units a company will have. For example, if you look at this component manufacturing unit, where the components of a personal computer are actually manufactured, or spare parts of automobile are actually manufactured. And this manufacturing facility will be supplied from materials distribution center. So this company will maintain a warehouse or a distribution center near to the manufacturing facility, or sometimes inside the manufacturing facility itself, from where the raw materials are issued to the manufacturing section. So similarly, the company would also have components distribution center. So where the finished components of the products are maintained. For example, let us say a monitor, or a processor. So this is the warehouse for finished components, and there will be one more facility where all these finished components are assembled. Say for example, Dell will have an assembly plant in Texas, where they will assemble CPU, keyboard, mouse, and inside the CPU, motherboard, RAM, then hard drives, etc. So those components are assembled in the assembly line. So like this, a company will have different manufacturing units or facilities. See, even if you consider Tata Motors Dharwad, so basically it is an assembly plant. Most of the spare parts are manufactured in some other place, and they arrive at Dharwad plant. And in Dharwad plant, all those spare parts are assembled and automobiles are produced. And the finished goods, say for example, Tata Motors in Dharwad will, if you, while going from Dharwad to Hubballi, you might have seen many products of Tata Motors which are kept in open ground. Like Tata Marco Polo Star buses, Tata Hitachi excavators, if you remember. So that is nothing but a plant warehouse where finished goods are stored. So from here, so these finished goods, are transported to finished goods distribution center located in different geographical area near to market. So if I consider there are two markets, so one finished goods distribution center will be there in market near to market 1, and one more finished goods distribution center will be there near market 2. So from this finished goods distribution center, market 1 will be supplied, and from this finished goods distribution center, market 2 will be supplied. So from the finished goods distribution center, so if there are wholesalers, say for example, in case of fast moving consumer goods, or in case of soft drinks, wholesalers exist or distributors exist. So finished goods are transported to the distributors' warehouses, where the distributor stores the finished goods in his warehouse. So as I said, there will be hundreds of distributors in case of FMCG companies or soft drink companies. And from these distribution centers, retailers place order. So from these distribution centers, a retailer places order, and the retailers are supplied from their respective distributors within their territory. For example, this distributor cannot supply to retailers in this area, or this distributor cannot supply to the retailers in this geographical area. each geographical area or market has a designated distributor only who can supply to the retailers. Okay, so this is how, okay, a traditional network looks like. So with all these, as I said, multiple suppliers and their distribution centers, multiple manufacturing facilities, okay, then multiple finished goods warehouses, multiple hundreds of distributors and millions of retail stores, okay, customer needs are satisfied throughout the market. So this whole collection, okay, of warehouses, facilities, distributors and retailers is referred to as network. Okay, so that is how, okay, we begin with having a proper understanding of what exactly is, okay, a network. Okay, so I'll pause after a couple of minutes. So I'll continue from here. What is a supply chain network? What it includes? So already I have explained. Supply chain network design decisions include facility role. Okay, like a manufacturing facility, for example, whether will it be a manufacturing facility for component manufacturing or will it be a assembly line. So different roles are played. Second, location of manufacturing facility. So if there are going to be 4 manufacturing units, what should be the location of each manufacturing facility? What should be the location of each manufacturing facility, and what should be the production storage capacity or production capacity of each facility? Then allocation of capacity to each facility. Okay, then what percentage of the demand will be met from, okay, what percentage of the total demand will be met from each facility will be assigned, and finally which markets will be supplied from which facilities will be allocated. So this is what exactly supply chain network looks like. Okay. Now we'll learn about the first part, network design decisions. Okay. The first decision is the facility role. What role should each facility play? So as I said, there are facilities where manufacturing function is performed of spare parts or components, and there are manufacturing facilities where only assembly is done. So I gave you the example of Dell computers. Dell facilities are basically assembly lines. Their components or peripherals are manufactured by some other suppliers. Okay. Then if you consider, for example, Varun Beverages in Dharwad or LVT Industries in Hubballi, so they actually perform the manufacturing function. They basically manufacture the finished goods. So then second function, what processes are performed at each facility? Okay. So there can be different processes. Okay, so as I mentioned, assembly or manufacturing of components, or which products will be performed on which days. Okay, so if you remember the Coca-Cola factory that we visited in okay, Andhra Pradesh, so on certain days they manufacture certain products. Not all products are manufactured on all days. Then second decision is about facility location. Where should facilities be located? So whether it is a manufacturing unit or a assembly plant or a warehouse, okay, what should be the geographical area in which these facilities are located? For example, whether the manufacturing unit should be located near to the suppliers of raw materials or they should be located near to the markets. Both have their own advantages. Okay. For example, if the manufacturing units are located near to the suppliers of raw materials, the raw material inventory can be reduced drastically. Whereas if the facilities are located near to market, okay, the response time will be very quick. Okay, means the goods can be delivered very quickly to the distributors or retailers. So it depends on the company whether it wants to be a efficient supply chain or a responsive supply chain. Depending on that, it can decide the facility location. So if the company wants to be a efficient supply chain, it will locate the facility near to suppliers of raw materials. And if a company wants its supply chain to be responsive, it will locate its facility near to market. Okay, then network design decisions continued. Capacity allocation. So how much capacity should be allocated to each facility? Say for example, if the total demand is 100, for simple example, if the total demand in the market is 100 and if a company has 3 manufacturing units, so all 3 manufacturing units will not have equal capacity. So the company has to decide what should be the production capacity of each factory. Say out of 100, the manager may decide to allocate 40 units manufacturing capacity to plant 1. Okay, then 50, another manufacturing capacity with 40 units, one more. So third plant may have a manufacturing capacity of 20 units, manufacturing facility with a smaller production capacity. Then market and supply allocation. What markets should each facility serve? Okay, so if you remember the Coca-Cola plant that we visited in Andhra Pradesh, okay, basically they supply to the wholesalers in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and I think Kerala also he mentioned. I don't remember exactly. Okay, but suppliers in the wholesalers and retailers in Dharwad and Hubbali, Belagavi are not supplied from Andhra factory. Okay, so the Coca-Cola factory in Andhra Pradesh, okay, supplies only to the wholesalers in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and neighboring states. Okay, and the wholesalers in North Karnataka are supplied by a factory from Bangalore. Then which supply sources should feed each facility? So supply sources, when I say it is supply of raw materials. So let us say if there is a factory in Hubballi and there is a factory in Bengaluru, there is a factory in Bombay. There are 3 facilities. One more factory is there in Goa if you consider. So which supply sources? So which suppliers should supply raw materials to factories in Goa, factory in Bombay, factory in Dharwad and factory in Hubballi. So that also has to be decided well in advance. So we call that the market and supply allocation. Okay, so I'll pause here. So I repeat, I'll pause here, and if any student has any question, you will have some time. Only those students, I repeat, only those students who have questions, okay, unmute yourself, ask the question, and after the answer, please remember to mute yourself again. If you do not have a question, kindly do not unmute yourself. Okay, any questions? Sachin Umbarji, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sachin Umbarji, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whether my voice is clear?
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
In last 25 minutes, whether my voice was clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you or Pavitra can let me know if you have a audio problem.
Okay, sir. Okay.
If it is very urgent, you can even call me. There is no problem.
Fine, sir.
Okay, so one last call. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So if you don't have any questions, then I'm going to mute you all again. So we'll continue from here now. The second part of the chapter discusses factors influencing network design decisions. I repeat, factors influencing network design decisions. Okay. So the first factor that has influence on network design decisions is strategic design of the supply chain. Okay, so I'll remind you again, an efficient supply chain is one where the supply chain costs are lower. A responsive supply chain is one where the supply chain can quickly respond to the customer demand. Okay, so what type of a design the company is planning to have? Okay, say for example, if the company wants to be a responsive supply chain, it means if the company wants to quickly deliver the goods to the customer, it needs to have more number of facilities or warehouses. I repeat the example of e-commerce companies. Say for example, okay, a retailer like Amazon or Flipkart has a warehouse in Bengaluru, and if the North Karnataka customers place an order online, say approximately the standard delivery time is 5 to 7 days. Okay, because there is a single warehouse in Bengaluru which can meet to the needs of all customers in Karnataka. Say for example, if the demand increases from North Karnataka and the company wants to deliver the goods within 3 to 4 days, so the company needs to have one more warehouse in North Karnataka. So thus, by increasing the number of facilities or warehouses, a company can increase its responsiveness. Similarly, conversely, if a company wants to maintain low costs, or if the company wants to lower the costs of supply chain, it should have less number of facilities or less number of warehouses. Even that matters with the production capacity of facilities. If the company wants to be efficient, it can have fewer number of manufacturing capacity with very large production capacity. Large production capacities enable the company to achieve economies of scale and thus lower the production costs. Okay, opposite, if a company wants to be responsive or very quick to the market, it should have more number of manufacturing facilities with smaller production capacities. Though the cost will increase, but the increase in number of facilities will increase the speed of delivery. So this is how exactly we are going to learn how these factors influence network design decisions. Now the second factor is technological factors. Okay, so for example, some of the technologies, in some of the technological products require that if the company has fewer manufacturing units, with a larger production capacity, the technology will enable them to achieve economies of scale. For example, here Texas Instruments, which manufactures semiconductor chips, so they have a very few manufacturing units with a very large production capacity, so thereby achieving economies of scale. And whereas Pepsi, if you consider, so they have more than 20 or 30 production capacities all over the country or all over the market. Thus, technology influences the number of facilities as well as the production capacity of each factory. Then, the third factor that has influence on network design is a macroeconomic factor. So one is the tariffs and the tax incentives. So basically, tariffs and tax incentives influence the location of a facility. See, whether it is a warehouse or a factory, it has to be located in a geographical area, in some state, in some district, in some taluk. And each state in India, for example, if I only consider Indian market, each state in India provides certain tax benefits and okay, some tax benefits and infrastructure facilities for companies to attract them so that these companies can come and start manufacturing units in their respective states. For the state will be benefited in terms of okay, developed economy and increase in employment. Similarly, exchange rates okay, also influence the network design decisions. So in a global supply chain, for example, okay, where many of the American manufacturers have suppliers in Asia like Thailand, Vietnam, okay, China. So when goods are procured from these suppliers in Asian countries and they reach America, so definitely it is about export and import. So these exchange rates also influence the location of the facilities in a global supply chain. Okay, the other factors that have influence on network design decision is political factors. See, basically one important aspect what the companies will look for before deciding on the location of a facility is a political stability. Okay, so it is so because some companies are in favor of okay, the FDI and some companies are not in favor of FDI, and that also depends on again different sectors as well. Say for example, if a government is not favoring FDI in a particular sector, okay, but somehow with lobbying a company enters the country and starts a manufacturing unit, okay, later, okay, so it may end up in trouble if the government changes its attitude towards the company. Okay, so political stability. Say for example, if a government is supporting FDI and a company is planning to start a manufacturing facility within a state, okay, for example, and the company should also consider the stability of the present government which is permitting okay, the permission for the factory. Then second next factor is infrastructure. So other than all, so where the company is planning to start a manufacturing unit, you should also definitely consider the infrastructure facilities available in the given location. The basic infrastructure like road connectivity, air connectivity, ports if required, okay, rail connectivity, or electricity, water, availability of labor. These all are the infrastructure issues that can have influence on selection of a location for a facility. Similarly, customer response time. So if customer response time is very important, it means customer orders have to be quickly delivered. So in that case, the company will have a large number of facilities located closer to markets. This point we have already discussed. And the logistics and facility cost. Okay, so say for example, a company wants to have 4 manufacturing facilities to supply to all over India. So what will be the logistics and facility cost if they base the factories, say one in Delhi, one in Bombay, one in Chennai, and one in Kolkata. And you can consider alternate sites, alternate locations. Say for example, if you start a factory in, let us say, Punjab, if you start a factory, a second factory in Madhya Pradesh, third factory in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, for example. So what will be the total logistics and facility costs? So these all are taken into consideration before designing the network. So when I say network again, I'll summarize. It is about the suppliers from whom you are going to receive the raw materials, the facilities which are going to manufacture components, the facilities that are going to assemble the components, okay, and the warehouses for finished goods, okay, and the distributors and the retailers. So as network of all these stages or all these participants is considered as network. Okay, so in next class, so we're going to learn how cost response time, okay, how cost and response time are associated. Next, how service and number of facilities are related. Okay, So with the help of an illustration. So this illustration is very interesting, which we are going to learn in next class. Okay. So I'm left with the 4 minutes now. So I'm going to unmute you. Okay. So please remember the session is being recorded and it will be uploaded onto YouTube for public view. So those students who have questions, okay, you can ask first, then mute yourself again. And both the class representatives, okay, Sachin Umbarje and Pavitra can speak if they have any general matter related to subject. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you all. Yes, first priority is for questions. Ajay, do you have any question? Ajay, can you hear me? Kiran, do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Sushmita, do you have any question? Okay, good. So if you don't have any questions, then I'll ask for Sachin Umbarje and Pavitra to speak. If you have any queries related to the subject in general. Pavitra, can you hear me? Pavitra, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Any queries related to subject in general?
No, sir. It is fine.
Okay. So any other queries? Hi Sandeep, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Audio was clear?
It is
Yes,
clear,
sir.
sir.
Please you have to remember me. If you don't give feedback, I will not understand. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So 1 minute is remaining. I hope I will end the session for today. And the day after tomorrow we'll continue with, okay, the next part. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So even if you have any queries after the class, you can please call me. You can call me and clarify. And I'm going to upload the same video today by today night, okay, onto YouTube. Thank you very much. Thank you for your cooperation and support.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Third ray. Power ray.